Welcome back to the Sound for More channel, and welcome back to another tutorial. Today I have the pleasure to introduce you to ShapeStage from Cem Olcay. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe, as it helps with growing the channel. Thank you very much. Additionally, if you would like to support what I do, please do ensure to follow the instruction contained in each video description. Thank you again. So we are inside the AUM and we are going to create an audio channel. So first of all, we're going to insert effects and we are going to search for ShapeStage. There it is. It's an effect, an AUv3 effect, which works extremely well and is very interesting with a lot of modulation option. We are going to click here on the folder and we are going to select default so that we don't have any modulation running and any effects which are applied. Next, we're going to select an audio source, and I like to try something when I explain a new effect with a normal, or should I say traditional, well-known audio source and synth, in this case a piano tech, which works extremely well. Again, everybody knows how a piano sounds like. So we remove any effect, okay, so let's close that bit. And we go to Effects, and we are going to remove the delay, okay, and also remove the reverb, okay. And this is how it sounds like, okay, with and without ShapeStage. Now let's open up ShapeStage and let's see what we can do. First of all, you can see at the top you have this letter A, B, C, D, so there are different stages, like different states, and you can click between them to move. And as you can see at the bottom, this is a position that moves between the different state, or position, or stages as they're called. You can click and hold and also move it yourself manually, but I'll show you how to also modulate that using an LFO or another modulator as well. Underneath, you have the effects that you can apply. So a drive, like a type saturation, right? It helps you to, for example, create a distortion effect, enrich, of course, your sound. You can change the character of the shape as well of it. You can drift the pitch up and down. You can add some delay, and just remember that this delay is actually like a buffer. It records that, and I'll show you that in a moment. And then you can add some feedback and movement to the delay. Finally, you can enhance your stereo effect, or your width of your stereo, okay? And then you can apply some texture using a granular algorithm. Okay, so just to give you an example, so let's play some notes and change some effects. So you can see it's drifting, and as you move up and down, you see the value here, so you know where to go to restore it. It's not a case of double clicking, so you just need to restore it to the value that originally it was at, like 0 semitone. Yeah, let's go for the drive. You can see how it is increasing. Then, of course, you can change the shape as well. And depending on the audio source, you may hear that or less. And in some cases, it's quite a subtle effect. So you should be able to hear it now. Okay, let's remove that. Let's go for motion. So if I set it just a little bit, like so, and I press to note and stop. So you can see it's delayed and it is repeated. Okay, and then of course I can increase these as well. So let's try again. And the beauty as well is that I can add some movement and modulation, or right, and feedback. So let's try. So you should hear that modulation, right, and feedback. And then, of course, you can add some spread here. So you can create some very interesting effect, combine them all. Now let's add some granular texture. And of course extreme at 100%. Quite different sound, right? Okay, so what can we do in terms of modulating? So let's click here, and you can see you have a number of LFO 1, 2, and 3. You can set the rate for each one of them, the phase, which is important, and also the shape. Click here, you can move from sine, triangle, etc. You can choose the different shape. And then, of course, you can also sync it to the host, which will change here rate from hertz to subdivision based on the host tempo. So you can use LFO 1, 2, and 3. Then scrolling below, you have also a 2 envelope generator for which you can set your attack, decay, sustain, and release. And you can also set them in a loop, which is great. And then finally here underneath you have also an envelope follower, for which you can change the attack, the decay, and the sensitivity. And here you have global gain and also global drive and dry and wet. Okay, so let's try to apply some modulation or using LFO 1. So we go to this next tab. It says no modulation connection. Click on the plus sign. Now you have this first modulator, which you can delete, of course, like so, and add it again. You can enable and disable it. Okay, there. Then here you decide the source, in this case LFO 1, but you can change it. You can decide if you have it binary, unilateral, positive, negative. Okay, so that's up to you. And then which control is going to modulate, and that's important. Let's leave it for morph now, and then you set the intensity around 50%. Okay, let's go back here, and you can see that now this is morphing between the position up and down. And of course, what is happening here is that as you move to state B, you can see that these values are not set, but in status A or stage A, they are set. So it therefore morph between one stage to the next, and you have, and of course, a different effect. So if I was to go to stage B and increase these slightly, let's decrease this a bit. A little bit more. And on stage B, we add a little bit of motion as well. Okay, so you don't need to use stages and morph in between stages. You can also stay on one stage and apply, of course, a modulator to one of the effects. So, for example, I could go back here, and instead of saying morph, we're going to go to stages, stage A, and we're going to change, for example, the drift. Okay, so you can see it's now modulating the drift effect. You might want to go back here and decrease the speed. And then, of course, you can continue like that. You can add another one. Right, you can say I'm going to use AUv3 and I'm going to stage A, and you're going to add some motion. Why not? Okay. And so on and so forth. Let's change the source now. Let's go for red stripe. Okay. And let's leave the default preset and let's try. And of course, you can see here what happens when you act on the dry and wet, okay? Therefore, you can adjust it a little bit. And the interesting thing, of course, is that you can add so many modulators, and here as a destination, you can go to each individual stage and change or modulate a specific parameter, and then you can still modulate the morph, or you modulate the dry and wet, or the gain, or you can also go and try to modulate the attack, the gain, sustain, and release of the two envelope generator, or even the envelope followers, which will take, of course, the input as well as use that, okay, to modulate, for example, other parts of the effect. So you can create some really, really complicated setup. Even in this case, you can change, for example, for each of the LFO, the rate, the phase, the shape, and the division. Okay, so you can go pretty complex in terms of what you can modulate. As I said, it's really straightforward to actually use it. Here you have settings, of course, the MIDI channel as an input, and also trigger nodes for the two envelope generators, control style, and usual here option for tutorial review, other apps, and feedback. So it's pretty simple to use, but quite effective. And although it looks simple, you can create some really, really complex modulation of your input source. Okay, I'm going to stop here for this first introduction. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and as always, see you next time. Bye.